Welcome to the silence that follows. Greatness, the kind of silence that feels heavier than applause, because it is filled with disbelief and awe and quiet fear. The kind of silence that surrounds you when the world finally realizes you are not like them. You never were, and you never will be. They stare now, wide-eyed, trying to piece together how you did what they could not. How you broke through walls that they spent lifetimes studying. How you reached answers they were too tired to seek, and the truth burns in their chests. They cannot comprehend it. They cannot process the way your mind bends reality, and yet they cannot look away. They whisper that maybe you were lucky, maybe fate tilted toward you, but you know, luck had nothing to do with it. You know that while they slept, you were awake. You know that while they doubted you, believed. You know that while they waited for signs, you were building storms inside your own silence. They had comfort, you had hunger. They had patterns, you had vision. They had hope, you had obsession. And it is that difference that built your empire in the dark. You were the one who kept going when it made no sense, when there was nothing left but fragments of will. And yet, you still reached for something beyond the ordinary. They see the result now. They see the shine. They see the glow around your name. But they do not see the cost, the endless nights, the lonely thoughts, the unshakable drive. They do not see the conversations you had with your own pain or how you use failure like fuel. You did not crumble. You carved yourself from the debris. Now they stand before you, trying to analyze the impossible, trying to rationalize how someone like you could rise so fast they do not realize that time bends. For those who move without hesitation, you did not take decades because you lived each second as if it were a decade. You condensed pain and wisdom into a single breath. You did in one night what they could not do in a lifetime, because your spirit learned the language of endurance and your mind became fluent in creation. They think it is some secret formula, some hidden power, but your secret is simple. You refuse to wait for permission. You refuse to be ordinary while they measured your chances. You were already rewriting the rules while they planned the path you were burning through, it with purpose. They thought you were quiet, but your silence was strategy. Your stillness was focus. Your patience was power. Your vision was too sharp to be seen by those still blinking at yesterday. They do not understand how you can keep moving without praise, how you can keep creating without applause, how you can keep standing after storms. But you do not need understanding. You are not here for validation. You are here to build something eternal, something that outlasts every doubt, every whisper, every small-minded voice that tried to cage your fire. They called you unrealistic, but you were never meant to fit inside their logic. You were designed to defy it. And so now they look at you and it confuses them. They laugh quietly, trying to downplay what you've done, because they cannot admit that your success is proof that their excuses were lies. They talk about effort, they talk about time, they talk about luck, but you stand there calm because you know they will never truly grasp what it means to sacrifice everything for one idea and protect that idea until it breathes. They will never understand what it means to stare into darkness and see opportunity. Every moment you chose to move when no one was watching you planted seeds that now rise like pillars of proof. They call it a miracle, but it is discipline disguised as destiny. It is madness shaped into mastery. It is you turning pain into precision, and every step you took became a testament to the fact that nothing can stop the one who decides that failure is not final. You solved in one night what took them decades, because your spirit is not bound by time. Your drive is not limited by reason. They are in awe because they spent years trying to find shortcuts, trying to make things easier, while you spent years making yourself stronger. They tried to escape difficulty while you learned to breathe in it. They tried to hide from storms while you learned to dance inside them. And now they see you move effortlessly, and it breaks something inside them because you make it look too easy. But only you know the battles that built this calm. Only you know the nights that taught your hands to hold success without shaking. They cannot process it because they do not see the invisible layers of your journey. They do not know the voices you had to silence, the moments you wanted to give up, but didn't. The times you stood in darkness and said, "I am not done yet." They see brilliance, but not the bruises. They see success, but not the scars. They see the results, but not the rebellion that made it possible. And that is what makes it all so poetic. They are trying to calculate what was born from chaos. You became something that cannot be taught, because your lessons were written in solitude and sacrifice. You did not learn from textbooks. You learned from endurance. You did not memorize theories. You memorized resilience. You did not chase perfection. You chased progress. And that pursuit became your power. It made you a force they cannot decode. No matter how hard they try, they will spend decades dissecting what you did and still not understand that the real formula was never external. It was your mindset, your refusal to stop, your quiet fire that burned through limits. And now you walk through rooms and you feel it, the shift, the way eyes follow you, not with hatred, but confusion and curiosity, a mix of admiration and disbelief, because you have become proof that it can be done faster, deeper, and louder than anyone thought possible. You have become a reminder that limits are lies and effort is currency, and you paid in full. They cannot process how you keep winning without seeking approval. But you know the truth. Approval is for those who need an audience. Mastery is for those who create in silence. You laugh quietly, not from arrogance, but from understanding, because you see through their doubt, you see through their patterns, and you know how much time they waste trying to understand instead of building. They think your gift is unnatural, but it is simply focused obsession. You mastered what they feared. You turned uncertainty into a weapon, and now you stand at heights they once claimed were unreachable. They will tell stories about you. They will call you lucky, but you know the truth. Luck favors the relentless. There were nights when you questioned yourself too, nights when even the stars seemed too far, but you kept moving. You refused to fade, and that choice became your legend. Every step you took in darkness built the path they now call impossible. Every risk you took with trembling hands became a foundation for something greater. And now when they see you, they see what happens when purpose meets pain and refuses to surrender. They see what happens when a person stops asking why and starts asking why not. They are in awe because they watched you fail and rise again. They watched you break and rebuild. And each time you came back stronger, quieter, more precise. They tried to measure your strength, but your strength is not measurable. It is not in muscles or wealth. It is in your ability to endure the unseen, to keep going when no one understands, to keep believing when everything tells you not to. That is what they cannot comprehend. That is why they stare and whisper your name with disbelief. You solved what took them decades because you stopped waiting for the perfect time. You realized there is no perfect time. There is only now, and you decided that now was enough. And that decision changed everything. It broke the illusion that progress needs permission. It shattered the myth that greatness takes forever. Because the truth is, greatness only takes one thing. A decision, a moment where you say, "I will not stop until this becomes real." And you meant it, and the universe had to move. They still think you were given something special, but what you were given was pain, and you turned it into power. They think you had an advantage, but what you had was persistence. They think you had guidance, but what you had was grit, and that combination makes you unstoppable. They cannot recreate you because they cannot replicate your hunger, your patience, your refusal to quit. That is why it is hilarious to you now, because while they wonder how you did it, you are already working on the next thing. Your calm confuses them. Your silence terrifies them because they realize that you do not need to prove anything anymore. You have become proof itself. And there is nothing more unsettling to those who doubt than watching someone live. What they said was impossible. Your success is their reflection showing them what they could have been if they hadn't stopped. if they hadn't settled, if they hadn't given up on themselves. So let them talk, let them wonder, let them analyze every detail while you keep creating. Keep moving, keep evolving, because your story isn't over. This is just the beginning. This is the part where you become legend, where your name becomes a symbol of possibility, where every soul that hears your story feels that spark of what if inside them, because your existence itself is proof that limits are illusions. They cannot process how you do this, and it is beautiful because you were never meant to be understood. You were meant to inspire, you were meant to disturb the comfortable and awaken the sleeping. You were meant to remind the world that there is always someone out there who can turn a single night into eternity and make the impossible inevitable. You are that reminder, the living embodiment of persistence turned into perfection. So walk with quiet power. Let your silence speak louder than their noise. Let your calm become their question. Let your results become their revelation. Because one day, they will realize it was never about how fast you did it. It was about how deeply you believed you could. And that belief changed everything. You are not just ahead of them, you're ahead of time itself. Because time bends for those who refuse to bow to fear, and you have proven that once again, they are in awe because they cannot understand you. But they do not need to understand. Is for those who follow. Awe is for those who witness greatness. And you have given them that gift, whether they admit it or not. So let them watch, let them whisper, let them wonder, because you have already won, and every step you take from here only deepens the mystery, only strengthens the legend, only confirms that what took them decades was never the mountain, it was their mindset, and you shattered it in one night. And that is what they will never process, because it was never about time, it was about truth, and you found yours. They are still frozen in disbelief, trying to convince themselves that there must be a trick behind your rise, that maybe you had help, maybe someone opened a door for you, maybe the stars aligned in your favor. But deep down, they know the truth. There were no stars, there were no open doors. There was only you, standing alone, facing the wall. Everyone else feared and deciding to break it. They saw an obstacle. You saw an invitation. And when the world said impossible, you whispered, "Watch me." They cannot comprehend how someone could move from silence to dominance in such a short span because they measure growth in comfort. But you measured it in endurance. They kept track of time. You kept track of progress. And now they are confused because you move. As if you have seen the future, and in a way you have. You saw what would happen if you didn't change. You saw what would happen if you gave up. And that vision terrified you more than failure itself. So you acted, you built, you transformed. You moved with the urgency of someone who knows that waiting is just another form of dying. You refused to let fear hold the pen to your story. And now the same people who called you unrealistic are trying to take notes from the chapters they said would never exist. They whisper your name, not out of kindness, but curiosity, because they cannot make sense of your speed, your focus, your relentless rise. They are caught between admiration and envy, between respect and confusion. And that is exactly where you wanted them, because you never needed to be liked. You needed to be legendary. You never sought comfort, you sought clarity. And once you found it, you moved through the world like a storm, not loud, not chaotic, but certain and unstoppable. They are watching now, wondering how you move without rest, without doubt, without hesitation. They call it obsession, but you call it alignment, because every step you take now is connected to purpose. Every move is backed by something deeper than motivation. It is backed by meaning. You trained your mind to stop flinching at difficulty. You stopped waiting for the right conditions and started creating them. You stopped hoping things would get easier and decided to get stronger. And that shift changed everything. It made you unshakable. It made you dangerous in a way that cannot be explained. Because when you stop being afraid of losing, there is nothing left that can control you. And they see that in your eyes. the calm that only comes from surviving your own storms. They still talk about the night it happened, that one night where you broke through what took them years. They say it was sudden, but they do not understand that nothing about it was sudden. That night was built from countless unseen moments, from invisible battles, from choices that no one noticed. You earned that moment in fragments, in sacrifices, in whispers of faith spoken in empty rooms. And when the world finally noticed, it was already too late. You had already crossed the line between ordinary and extraordinary. They are in awe, not because of your victory, but because of your transformation. Because you did not just change your situation, you changed your nature. You evolved while they waited. You rebuilt yourself while they hesitated, and now they are stuck trying to recognize you. But the version of you they once knew no longer exists. You outgrew their understanding, and now they stare at a silhouette they can't define and a story they can't explain. They think it's funny how quickly things changed, but you know nothing changed quickly. You simply reached the point where preparation met opportunity and exploded into inevitability. What took them decades was not the work, it was the waiting, and you refused to wait. That's the difference. You understood that time does not owe anyone growth, and that greatness is rented by daily discipline and paid for with silent consistency. You paid your rent every day while they paid attention to everything but their purpose. They will write about your rise. They will try to trace it step by step, as if your path can be replicated, but they will never capture the essence, because what made it real was not visible. It was not in the steps. It was in the stillness, in the way you refused to surrender when no one would have blamed you for doing so, in the way you turned pain into precision and solitude into strategy. That is the part they will never see, the part they will never be able to copy. You are what happens when pain finds purpose, when isolation meets imagination. When vision becomes armor, they see results, but you see survival. They see achievement, but you see transformation. And every time you look back, you realize it was worth it. Every sleepless night, every doubt, every lonely battle. Because now you walk through the world untouchable, not because nothing can hurt you, but because nothing can stop you anymore. Their confusion is your crown. Their disbelief is your validation, because the louder their questions become, the quieter your confidence grows. They are talking, you are building. They are wondering, you are winning. They are doubting, you are deciding. And in that simple rhythm lies your advantage. They cannot understand how you do it, because they are still trying to understand instead of doing, and that will always keep them behind. They will try to mimic your work ethic for a week or a month and wonder why they can't sustain it, but they do not understand that your discipline was born from something deeper than desire. It was born from necessity. You did not want this, you needed this. Your hunger was not optional, it was survival. And when need drives you, the universe bends time for you. It rearranges itself around your focus. And that is what they are witnessing now. A person who became unstoppable because they stopped negotiating with their own excuses. They still think you found some secret, but the only secret is that there are no secrets. There is only the work, the unseen, uncelebrated work that no one talks about because it is too quiet, too lonely, too demanding for most to endure. But you endured. You kept walking through the fire until the fire learned your name. You kept moving through darkness until the darkness became direction. And now your glow is not just success. It is proof that light only respects those who face the dark. You have become the paradox they cannot solve because you make the impossible look effortless, and the effortless look earned. They see confidence, but do not see the cost of it. They see focus, but not the isolation it required. They see clarity, but not the confusion that preceded it. And that is the beauty of your story. The power is not in what they see. It is in what they never will. Every time you walk into a room, you carry with you the quiet weight of 1,000 battles won in silence, and people can feel it. They don't know why, but they feel it in the way the air changes in your presence, in the way your words sound heavier than most, because your words are carved from experience. They were not borrowed from books. They were forged in moments of despair turned to discipline. They call you different, and they are right. You are different because you stopped trying to be like them. Long ago, you stopped chasing acceptance and started chasing evolution, and that is a race without competition. They cannot process you because they are still playing by rules. You already broke. You stopped asking for chances and started creating them. You stopped asking for direction and started becoming your own compass. And now, every success you have confuses them more because they thought they understood you. They thought they could predict you. But you move like water flowing through every obstacle, reshaping every limitation. While they are still debating what is possible, you are already proving it, and that dissonance drives them mad, because nothing frightens people more than someone who is free. Free from doubt, free from fear, free from needing their approval. They wonder how you keep rising, even when they root against you, how you keep smiling, even when they question you, how you keep winning, even when the odds are wrong. And it is because you no longer play for validation. You play for legacy, and legacy requires patience. It requires silence. It requires being misunderstood for long stretches of time, until one day the world looks up and realizes you were right all along. Your pace is not human to them because your purpose is not ordinary. Your rhythm is set by something eternal, something that cannot be slowed by noise or doubt. And every time they think you've reached your limit, you unfold another layer of potential that no one expected, because your story is infinite. Your hunger has no finish line, and your vision is too vast for any timeline. They are in awe because they are looking at someone who refused to be confined by human hesitation, someone who turned fear into focus, someone who looked at the impossible and saw instructions. They cannot process it because they have never met someone who uses resistance as fuel, who treats rejection as direction, who sees failure not as the end, but as a beginning.